Hello, Ms. Bisek. This is our presentation by Raul Casas, Michael Hart, and Michael Bonner. We're going to start off with the soma. The soma is right here in the presynaptic neuron and right here in the postsynaptic neuron. It's represented by a lifesaver. It's represented by a lifesaver gummy, and basically the soma is the spherical part of the neuron. It's like the cell body right there, and it connects all of these things, the dendrites, the axon, and it's like the headquarters of the neuron, and that's where all the functions occur. And then inside of the soma we have the nucleus right there, represented by a skittle, and we'll talk more about that later. Next on the list we have the dendrites. They are right here, and it's these represented by the Twizzler pieces, these like tentacles coming out of the cell body. We have them here and right here. Dendrites conduct electrochemical stimulation, which are received from other neural cells, and then those go into the soma, the electrochemical signals. Next we have the dendritic spines. These are represented by nerds right here and right here, and these protrude out from the dendrite, and they receive input from a single axon. So right here, each dendritic spine is going to receive a signal from an axon, and this is in the synapse right here, and these help transmit electrical signals throughout the neuron. Okay, now we're going to go to Michael Hart.
Alright, so right here we've got the axon, and the axon essentially transfers from the soma. It transfers the electric signals through all the way to the synapse, where it transfers to the postsynaptic nerve, and it does that through these guys right here, who are axon terminal buttons, which are pretty much branches at the end of an axon that kind of like shoot the neurotransmitters across the synapse to the postsynaptic nerve. Next, we've got around the actual axon itself, we've got the myelin sheaths, which are like, they're essentially fats that are electrically like non-conductive, so they're an insulating layer over the axon. So when you shoot these neurotransmitters across from the axon terminal buttons, it can cause a change in the difference between electrical charge between the neurotransmitter and the outside of the neuron, rather, and that is called depolarization. And then when it releases neurotransmitters, the axon, it will sometimes retake some of the neurotransmitters that were left over, which is a process known as reuptake. Michael Bonner.
Okay, so the synaptic vesicle is located right here, right there, and it stores the neurotransmitters to be sent to the other nerve. And synapsis, or just synapse, is the process of sending these neurotransmitters over to the postsynapsis nerve. So to do this, it sends the neurotransmitters through the synaptic vessel to the receptor sites, which would be located at the end of these. So they go across. So this is the pre-nerve. This is the presynaptic nerve. So it's getting ready to send all these neurotransmitters to the postsynaptic nerve, which is getting ready to receive all of these. So the nucleus is located in the middle of that lifesaver. It's like the identity of the nerve. It has the DNA, stuff like that. Without it, the nerve couldn't function. And then lastly, we have the nodes of Ranvier, which are represented by the gummy worm right here. So the action potential and neurotransmitters travel through this to get to the process of synapsis. Alright, back to Raul. So let's explain the action potential.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the action potential is what allows signals to pass on. So when an external stimulus is greater than positive 40 microvolts, then the signal fires. And so basically the action potential regulates whether or not a signal is going to fire throughout the neuron. Let's go on to all or nothing principle. The all or nothing principle states that if an external stimulus is above the threshold, and we just explained the threshold, which is the action potential, then a signal will fire. And if it's below the threshold, then it won't fire. So it's all or nothing. Next, we have the resting potential. And the resting potential is the polarization of cell fluid in a neuron that provides potential to produce an action. Basically saying that if there is cell fluid and it's polarized inside of the neuron, then it has the potential to fire signals and respond to stimuli. Go to Michael.
I already explained it.
No, the last two.
Yeah, I already did those.
Oh, well, never mind. Then we're done.
Thanks, Miss Bizak.
Thanks, Miss Bisak. Goodbye.